I just came back from my trip to Jamaica, and I would say it was a very productive trip. I was able to do a lot of work while I was in Jamaica for a week. And since I came back, I've been planning my trip for Trinidad and Tobago. And in the midst of planning my trip for Trinidad and Tobago, this thing from Travel Leisure popped up on my screen and is about a level 3 travel advisory to Trinidad and Tobago. As a Jamaican that spent years working in the hospitality industry, travel advisory is something that I'm very accustomed to. While I was working in Jamaica, travel advisory was like clockwork. Every single winter tour season, we had travel advisory to Jamaica. And it's so amazing that so many people still visited Jamaica despite what we consider some unreasonable travel advisory. So I am not the type of person who plan my trips based on travel advisory because it's something that I'm used to. But my question is a level 3 travel advisory really necessary for the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago? Let's talk about it. Okay, so as I said, I'm not the type of person that when I'm planning a trip that I look up travel advisory and to see what is going on before I travel to that place because, as I said, I'm someone that I'm used to this whole travel advisory system, and I know that this system can be an unfair system. I think the only time that I've ever really looked up travel advisory was when I was going to Mexico, and because Mexico is a different ball game. But for the most part, no, I don't look up travel advisory. And I'm not surprised about the travel advisory for Trinidad and Tobago. And the reason why I'm not surprised is because in December, when the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, when he decided to put out the state of emergency in December, I immediately came to my mind that this is a very, very risky move because putting out a state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago in December, and I remember thinking that this is too close to Carnival time because Carnival is in February, and once you put out a state of emergency, that could have an impact, a negative impact on Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. So I remember thinking that. So I'm not surprised about the travel advisory going to Trinidad and Tobago. What is really surprising to me is the level 3 travel advisory. And so let's take a look at this. So it's coming from the U.S. State Department. So the U.S. State Department issued a level 3 travel advisory for Trinidad and Tobago. The agency is recommending travelers reconsider traveling due to crime, kidnapping, and terrorism. So that is the part that got me, that this level 3 travel advisory. And as you saw, crime, yes, I understand crime, but kidnapping and terrorism is the one that have me speechless. This travel advisory sound like it would be a travel advisory for a war-torn country. And Trinidad is not in the middle of any war. I know that, yes, there's crime in Trinidad. There's an increase of crime going on. But this sounds like something that a travel advisory that would be applicable for like Ukraine or for like, say like Israel or Palestine. This does not seem like a travel advisory that would be for Trinidad and Tobago. So that is the part that got me. Not that there is a travel advisory, but level 3, and that they would mention, as I said, like crime, yes, that is understandable, but kidnapping and terrorism, that is what is confusing to me. So let's do a breakdown of this travel advisory to see if this travel advisory, this level 3 travel advisory, is a reasonable travel advisory for Trinidad and Tobago. So normally the travel advisory, they come in 4 levels. So from level 1 to level 4 is the travel advisory. And normally for most of the Caribbean islands would normally experience a level 2 travel advisory. That is something that we're used to seeing, a level 2 travel advisory for a lot of the Caribbean islands. So the travel advisory, so level 1 asks for the citizens of America to exercise normal precaution. So pretty much like basic common sense, like anywhere in the world, like you go, be careful where you put your purse, don't wear too much expensive jewelry and stuff like that. That is basic, the normal precaution that you'll take anywhere in the world that you're going. The level 2 asks to exercise increased caution. So that is like, be careful where you're going, be careful like what mode of transportation, like make sure like the taxi that you're taking is like a reputable taxi company and stuff like that. And the level 3, and this is where Trinidad and Tobago, their travel advisory is at. The level 3 mentioned that it's a recommendation that if you're planning to travel to this place, that you should reconsider. So that is a level 3. Do not go. Reconsider. It is not telling you outright that you can't go, but please reconsider. And then the level 4, the red alert level 4, do not travel to this country. And normally travel advisories, I think for most people, they think that the intentions of travel advisory for America, putting out travel advisory to their citizens, going to certain places across the world, is well intended for the citizens of America, because if you're going to certain places across the world, like America is normally one of those countries that look out for their people, and that if you are an American citizen and you are in problem anywhere in the world, that the American government will make sure that you get home safe. So normally this is not something that is alarming when you see America put out a travel advisory. But some people believe that the travel advisory can also be weaponized. So if you go up against the American government, if the American government want you to do something and you are not going to do it, then they can use a travel advisory to make sure that, especially countries that depend a lot on America tourism, people traveling from America to come to these islands as tourists, this system can also be weaponized. So that is the question. Is this system weaponized against Trinidad and Tobago? Does the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela and the business dealing between these two countries, does this have something to do with this travel advisory, level 3 travel advisory, which to me seem like very unreasonable? So sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Do you think that this level 3 advisory, travel advisory to Trinidad and Tobago, is a reasonable travel advisory?